Welcome back to The Watch, and Netflix is dead. They've finally done it. They've done the thing that I think was the final straw for most users.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I don't think this is really going to change too much.
Really?
Genuinely,
I think it's going to change a lot.
I don't think people care enough.
I think they do.
I think it's only the people that this affects, and most people, I would have to assume, just don't care. Like, most people are using it just for themselves.
Really?
Or within the same, like, their family, yeah.
Because here's the thing, the way that works for me, we use it within their family, but because we're all grown up and we're older now, their family have all their own families in separate households.
When I say the family, I mean within one household.
Yeah.
So,
for me, though, it's not the case.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like that as well. But however, I think if we looked at the base of Netflix users, I reckon it's most people not password sharing, not being outside the household.
Look, there's other things too I think might make it a bit more inconvenient, both like positive and negatives when it comes to like using pins now. I think we should read the article first, and then we kind of got some discussion questions to go through.
Right. So before we start, do you think this is going to make a big difference? Yes, I think it is, because I think it also paves the way for the other streaming services too. Okay, so all I know about this entire thing is that Netflix changed it so that you have to re-log in every 31 days. Mm-hmm. That's all I know about this so far. So I don't know if there's more or less. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's some more, so I think we should just get into it.
All right.
So this has come from an article that basically they go through the Netflix update their FAQs, and they just made an article based off it because they were talking about, 2023 password sharing. What's up with that? And so they start with, the company highlights in the FAQ that devices will have to log into the local home network of the Netflix account and stream Netflix content regularly to avoid being blocked. At first, I think that makes sense for me.
That does make sense.
A lot of people basically do that.
I was going to say that's a pretty standard.
That's how you use Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then they go on to say Netflix defines household devices in the following way: a device needs to be used to sign in and watch Netflix content using the official Netflix apps or website, or connected to the Wi-Fi network at the primary location at least once every 31 days. Again,
that seems really standard to me. I mean, am I missing something so far?
Well, I think of, for example, if you go to an Airbnb and you sign in with your account.
Right.
And then you can't sign in with, let's for example, use a TV. Netflix wants you to then use that TV on the local account, or the local network, and in 31 days. If you can't, then they lock you out.
Are you going to be staying at an Airbnb for 31 days?
No, but we don't necessarily. We don't know. I'm sure there are some people.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I agree. So I'm kind of confused because this says home devices so far. Mm-hmm. So is there any sort of like like secondary devices that are used specifically when you go traveling? And that
like iPads and stuff.
Yeah, that's how I think of these sorts of primary and secondary devices and home networks. And
see, with like with iPads and stuff, at least you can actually take it to the home network.
Right.
Like if grandma's stealing your Netflix, she can come over once a month and just sign in on that network. That's fine.
Exactly.
I'm thinking more about like TVs and things can't necessarily like bring over to that person's house.
That's right. But it seems, I just don't see it that like all of a sudden you can't use Netflix anywhere but home. Yeah. That seems crazy. Like, I don't think that, like, I think I'm missing something.
Yeah, there's more context here to be given. So information such as IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity is used to determine whether a device signed into your account is part of an account's primary location. So obviously that's how they would track it anyways.
Right.
But Netflix...
See, that seems like that would address those issues, because if you're at home or like most of the time, then all of a sudden you're in some other location for a little while, like it's still part of the primary location. Obviously somebody's gone on a trip or something like that. I'm not defending Netflix. I don't care. I want to be very clear here. It's just...
You got to be
I want to
devil's advocate.
I want to see where the outrage is first. Like,
okay.
Because all we've said so far is like you have to sign in every 31 days, which is standard for a lot of apps.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, but it's not that crazy.
So Netflix targets accounts sharing with the restriction, but customers who only use their devices may face verification prompts if they're not signed in with the device for the 31-day period. So now that we're having verifications, I'm guessing they're going to have like codes, maybe
again, that's standard.
two-factor authentication.
I agree.
I hate authentication. It's the most annoying.
It's annoying, but
like every time I sign into Adobe, they're like, "Hey, can we please text you this annoying number?" It's like I already given you my password and my email.
Keep your cybersecurity safe. Two authentication is important. It's important. It's annoying, but it's important.
So Netflix explains that device verification process on its FAQ website. A prompt may be displayed on the Netflix app or website that asks the viewers to verify the account. A link is sent to the account's email address or phone number that is associated with the primary account owner. A click on the link opens a page with a 4-digit verification code. This code is valid for 15 minutes and needs to be entered on the device with a verification prompt in that time. Netflix becomes available if the code is entered successfully. Netflix notes successfully. Netflix becomes aware if the code is entered successfully. Netflix notes that the device verification may be required periodically. Is that every 31 days? Was that every couple of weeks?
I think that's just 31. I don't know. Again, if it's more, then that's annoying as... Yeah, but like... If that's just they're talking periodically as a 31-day period, then
I think it'd just be annoying, right? If you are in a household with a lot of devices and a lot of people using Netflix, like every couple of days, someone's iPad is out of sync, someone's computer needs a thing.
That is very annoying.
And like I don't know what's more annoying, that consistently happening, or just one day everything drops out and you have to go through to everything and do the code. Again, like I understand codes, I understand why they need it, and I'm okay with it if it's like for setup. We haven't used the device for a while. Like they do it sometimes.
I'm curious
Facebook
to see if there'll be like a primary device, like a device that you never really have to log in on. And then every other device that's connected to that one, you have to do the periodic thing. Because if it's that, I think that's not really an issue. If it's like every single device, every 31 days, that's really annoying. But it's one of those things where it's like, this is standard practice for a lot of things.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm thinking now that it's going to be just too much
effort.
People are lazy, right?
Yes,
people are very easily frustrated.
Okay, all right.
Like, if you had the choice between all these streaming services and each one on Netflix need a code, you're going to go out and go somewhere else.
Hold on. You are correct. I am looking at it in terms of like industry standard for other things, like finance or emails or stuff like that. There is the thing to mention that it is for a streaming service, so like that is a lot of hassle for watching movies. Basically, like if I had to put in a code every time I wanted to watch a movie, no, that is fair.
Like I know people who have had their Netflix, accounts hacked, and like their profile and stuff doesn't change. It's just there's an extra profile there. It's like
there's nothing you can really,
some foreign name, and most people are like, I don't care. Like the poor guy probably needs Netflix.
Exactly. There's nothing.
There's no threat. If anything, I remember one person was saying like he actually gives good like referrals for things to watch.
The only threat that I would see from someone like actually getting into your Netflix account is that they would have your email and that most people are idiots and use the same password for everything. So like they would most likely have access to everything.
See,
else.
I wouldn't do that, but at least like that, most people like see that and they're like, "Oh, this is funny and not a threat." Where if it was like a bank account statement thing, that's like alarm bells ringing off.
Because this is all. I just like I've blocked this out. It's very new, right? And I've blocked this out. Are people really upset about this? Like super mad?
Some people, or how can I put this? People are like, "Oh, typical capitalistic big companies just like changing." Well, because here's the thing, right? Netflix as well, for a very long time, part of their marketing campaign was, you know what's true love? Sharing your password with your with your family. Like part of their marketing and the way they got so big was that, hey, share, like, I'll sign in for you, check out Netflix, and people were like, oh, this is cool, I actually want this. And then like that's how they grew as a business. And now they're changing that. And so it's very hard to take away what people have been taking for granted for so long.
The thing is, I'm curious to know whether they decided to implement these things to actually crack down on password sharing because it was having such a huge financial detriment to the business model, or they just want more money.
Well, there was a quote we'll get to that after the article that they basically talks about why they're doing this.
Is it?
Kind of. Okay, so the article continues. The company makes no mention of permanent account locks if verification codes are shared between different locations. Most customers should not run into verification issues while traveling or living between different homes, according to Netflix. Which, like, again, okay, you say that, but it's also, I immediately think of like Elon Musk when he got rid of like the stick shift. And he's like, your car will just know when to reverse. Okay, how? How will it know that I'm in a household?
I don't know. Like, I don't think that's on the same level.
Between different,
there's a difference between like taking
for me,
reversing a car.
I think it's the same as like they're just saying, "Oh, it'll work. It'll just work." And I'm like, "Okay, but how? Explain to me how this is going to work." If I'm traveling between two different households,
I think that they'll have to make it work. Like, because if you can't travel with Netflix, that there's a huge market that'll just be like, "Okay, well, I'm done with Netflix then." So I think that'll work. I think like if they didn't, this entire thing is worthless. You're just going to lose more customers than you could ever possibly get back if you can't travel with Netflix.
I was just thinking of people maybe who like permanently travel, like nomad people, or people who maybe don't have a home network. They just use their like phone data.
Nomad people.
Nomads.
There are better examples like truck drivers. You know that, right?
Truck drivers.
We're just talking about like tribal people.
Well, I'm just thinking about those like those millennials who like take out a van and whatever.
There are people who are not perpetually, but mostly traveling a lot of the time who do use lots of streaming services. And there have been like people who've been locked out of their accounts on other ones that I've heard of while they're traveling, and they need like a verification and they can't do it because they're away from home. I think Netflix would be very, 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 very stupid to go down that route. Because I'm sure that it makes it like, first off, let's look at the people that watch Netflix. I have all of my own media, meaning like all my own movies. The only thing that I really use Netflix for is if it's something that I don't want to own. If it's like a show that's coming out and I want to watch it, and I go, I don't really want to get like a physical disc or a
digital copy.
Yeah, a digital copy version. So I'll watch it on Netflix. Because I don't want it, basically. I don't want it. But everything that I do want, I own, and I can watch whenever I want, and I have on hard drives and whatnot. So Netflix, by its very its very nature, is for people who want that sort of consumable media anywhere at any time. So changing that fundamental, appeal of your service probably won't go well.
Yeah. So it's the thing, like. Again, I'm getting hooked up on the code thing, but it's like any time. It's like I'm just saying, like when it's like late at night, you're tired, you just want to watch something. The amount of times that, like for example, Disney Plus, right? The reason I did a whole video on my unsubscribe to that, but there were times where I'd click on that on the TV and it'd show up and be like, "Oh, error." I'm like, "All right, I'm not watching you today.
Right,
I'm going somewhere else now because I don't have the strength or energy, or even I don't care enough to fix this problem." And it's going to be the same with the code thing. I don't want to like click on Netflix, have to wait for my email to get me a code, then type the code in, and then pick what I want.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm going to go somewhere else instead. So I think those little inconveniences, although we're like, they're minor, for a lot of people, they're going to be like, and after a few months, they're going to be like, I haven't paid for Netflix or I haven't watched Netflix in ages. Why am I paying for it?
I agree. The only thing that I would say I would think would change that is if Netflix or some other streaming service is their primary way of consuming media, then they will go to that. They will go to that hassle because they don't have any other options.
Yeah.
Like for someone like you who has other options, and for someone like me who has other options, like I'm not gonna bother.
What's the point? But anyway, we'll finish this article and there's more stuff we can talk about. So Netflix plans to launch the restrictions. I love how they call it restrictions as well. It's not like new feature or whatever. It's like, no, restrictions. That's right. They're coming for you. In 2023, the company has yet to announce start date for specific regions, but is expected to launch the account sharing restrictions in the first quarter. Also interesting to think about, is this going to be just like a US thing? Is it going to be like the Western world? What's happening?
I am not sure. I have no idea because this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah. So, but again, questions to have like, okay, if it's only for the US, if I use a VPN or if I'm, here in Australia.
I don't understand why this is such a big deal compared to other things. Like, I remember when Netflix first came out way back when, and it was only like $8, $9. Now it's like $14, $15 for the base model. Yeah. So like that annoys me more.
Yeah.
And then there's also the thing of like when Netflix not when it first came out, but like during its golden years,
Yeah.
it had lots of really, really big franchises, things that have left and gone to their own terrible streaming services. So the price has gone up, and then the selection has gone down, of of like older titles that people love, and then on top of that, the stuff that they've been making lately. I mean, for every Stranger Things, there's 10 other things that get
there's
canned.
100.
Yeah,
there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
So I feel like there's worse things.
There are worse things, but I feel like, is this the thing that breaks the camel's back of like, okay, not only are the shows sucky, all your stuff's gone, the price increase, it's like, also, here's one more inconvenience for you, lovely user. So as you were asking before, you were like wondering, is this just a crappy move to make more money, or they're trying to turn customers into revenue? There was a quote here from Netflix where it said, Netflix has estimated that over 100 million users worldwide are using the service through the login credentials of someone else. It hopes that by putting an end to account sharing, it will bring a new infusion of revenue to the company.
Just that number, though.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say we had a business, Nathan, and we were selling ice creams.
Yes.
And 100 million were getting ice creams for free.
Yeah.
Would you be like, hey, maybe we should change something up to get, instead of giving out these 100 million ice creams for free? Like,
yes. Okay, but here's the thing. Ice creams are very different to a tech company, where software is a lot more accessible and free.
Okay, all right. So let's try a game.
Okay.
You develop a game. Let's just say you do something wild and develop a game.
Wow, I released one.
He releases a game, and we have a worldwide success, but 100 million of them are, because let's say it's an online service. God, I hate online services. Don't ever make an online service. But let's just say it's an online service, and they start pirating it for free.
Yeah.
100 million.
100 million.
That's a lot of cheese.
I know, but also I'd be wondering, why are they pirating it?
Because they want it for free.
Yeah, but what? Okay, why are they not paying for this product? Like okay,
because they want it for free.
No, but what I'm saying is it because
we've all sailed the high seas, and why do we do it? Because we want it. We don't want to pay.
Like, there's always reasons for it. It's like, do I not think it's worth the value for money? Do I not want to support the creators? There's always other reasons to it. If there's 100 million people,
or I just want to keep my hard-earned money.
Okay, but like, here's the thing. I feel like. And this is getting into topics where I don't like. This is credible evidence for piracy, which I don't want to talk about it. But I personally, with my own entertainment, if ever I released stuff, I would be fine with people pirating it and enjoying it, and in the future supporting me in other ways, because it gives me goodwill with both them and myself.
I would need to see evidence that allowing your audience to pirate something transfers into
goodwill. Yeah, like
not goodwill. Transforms into tangible monetary benefit later in the line. I need some studies, sir.
Yeah, we don't have that, because I'm pretty sure most of Hollywood, for example, doesn't like FBI. It's illegal. You would never steal a handbag or a car. Good old.
You would never download a car.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like 100 million. If that's accurate, I can understand why they're doing it, because that's a lot of money leaving on.
That is a lot of money, but also I think a lot of those 100 million people are just like scalpers. What would you call them? Freeloaders? Because as well, this is a worldwide service.
But then there's the sort of thing where it's like what you said with your family, like your parents may pay for it, but then you and all your other siblings who have your own households and stuff are using it as well. Well, if you couldn't do that anymore, would you get your own?
No. Because, okay, I'll tell you how it's set up in our family, okay?
I love how you said no, and I'm like, I don't actually know what to say next.
Let me tell you how it's set up for us.
Was I going somewhere with that?
So the way that it works for us is that each household pays for a different service. Because there's so many streaming services, someone will have Amazon, someone will have Netflix, Disney, all that sort of stuff.
I don't want to talk about
So then at least... Because I tell you what, Netflix, we pay for Netflix right now. That's why I'm kind of more like about this, is because our service is the most expensive one.
Really?
Yeah. To have all the accounts and at the quality that we want, ours is the most expensive. Everyone else, I pay for Amazon as well, just because I want free shipping on my deliveries, like, for Prime and whatever. But then stuff like we have Binge here, which is like the HBO version or Hulu version.
I'm a little like... a little jaded on this because I cancelled my Netflix like a year ago because I wasn't using it enough to justify it, and the shows that were coming out were so far and few and in between that it genuinely was a waste of money. Like $15 a month to watch it maybe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
To like peruse and then not want to watch anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's a waste. And so, I mean, for me, I guess this is coming from like my background and climate of how I watch and consume media. It's like, if Netflix doesn't do this, we're just going to stop paying for it. I'm going to make a Plex server with all the shows that the family wants, because most of the stuff we watch is either K-dramas, which there are other free services that we can use. Yeah. I know you laugh at that, but I tell you what, I was watching Good last night. It was real good. Oh boy, the emotions, the feeling. But then like, I know other family members use that Netflix just to watch The Office.
Yeah.
And they'll just have The Office in the background all day, every day. And so it's easier just to have a Plex server, buy a box to the box office, put it on Plex. Boom. I mean, this is just trying to make it more convenient for family members. If I'm going to stop paying for Netflix...
I wanted to be more convenient for myself.
They're like, oi, why are you stopping for Netflix? I'm like, we've got something better instead. Yeah. So, yeah, those are my thoughts, basically. And like, I guess I wanted to ask, is this Netflix being dishonest because their marketing for so long has been... share your passwords.
Well,
like it's been. Do
remember that the marketing was like that when there wasn't a lot of other services? Because back in those golden years, Netflix was the only game in town. Now we have so many to the point it's ridiculous. And it's just like, I refuse to pay for more than one of you. Either one gives me all I want, or I pay for none of you, and we say all the high C's.
Or buy them at, buy Blu-rays.
Yes, of course. From reputable dealers, yes.
Yeah. So I think it's a lot of people have probably, especially those in the US, who've had Netflix for probably 10, 20, not 20, but 10 years more than us. So do you think subscribers will stay? Do you think they're going to go?
Well, I think we'll have an easy way to determine whether it worked or not. If there's a price increase in the next 6 months, it didn't work.
Yeah. If there's another price hike.
If there's another price hike in the next 6 months or the next quarter, it didn't work.
And I also, there's probably going to be more layoffs as well. I think Netflix is going to probably clear house a lot.
Well, that's good, because then we'll get less terrible adaptations.
Well, no, I'm just talking about like it's not necessarily. Here's the thing: it's not always necessarily about the shows. It's also like the service of things. So like you're getting like community service, like support people, tech people.
Have you ever used Netflix tech support?
No, I haven't.
Exactly. What would you even use it for?
I'm talking about like the elderly though, who are using Netflix and they need that phone number to be like, oh, it says error -464, and they're like, ma'am, you need to reset your modem.
I don't even know what to say to that, man. Okay, maybe you're right. I don't know.
I'm just saying that, like, all I'm trying to say is that is also another.
Why would you call Netflix to restart your modem?
No, I'm not saying.
Call your internet provider. Why would you call Netflix?
People don't know how to use Netflix.
Yeah, but why would they call Netflix?
Also, young people don't know how to. Also, young people, but they hate calling.
Exactly.
So.
I'm not going to call you for anything.
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking people's jobs. That's all.
Will other streaming services follow this trend? Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know which one would do it first.
There is the conversation to be had, as in, like, if I sign into PayPal, right, and I have to do like an authentication code, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because it's PayPal.
It's PayPal. It's my money.
And same thing with, like, if I'm logging into my email from some other location. Two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication on something like my email, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
100%. So when it comes to, like, a streaming service, no.
It's the same, like with YouTube as well.
I wouldn't bother with that.
I would,
but then I also cancelled them all because I wouldn't bother with them in general.
Yeah. Well, you're a bad example for this discussion, then, aren't you?
Well, no, you're not. Well, not really, because I was lost in the other way when they started getting the price increases and then taking back the content. That's when they lost me. I was like, okay, well, I don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Bye, Netflix.
Yeah, pretty much. And then there was the rise of all the other ones with Disney Plus and HBO Max and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm not going to pay like $80 a month for all these different services. That's insane.
You just binge, don't you?
Yeah, I do binge. So I just wait until they're all out. And then I
Watch them all.
Definitely get them from a reputable dealer.
Yeah.
And pay full price. That is my methodology.
I just Plex it now. That should be the new Plex and chill.
What are you talking about? You're sitting there saying like people are calling Netflix technical service, but they're going to set up their own server.
No.
Yeah, all right, bro. All right.
Okay. No. Well, this is the thing.
Plex and chill, yeah.
Plex and chill, yeah.
Everybody's an IT professional now.
What I'm planning to do now is set up a Plex server so that everyone else can access it.
Yeah.
So the whole family can just like, okay, you request shows, and a lot of family I know they already have all the DVDs and stuff. It's just the ease of access of having it digital.
God, people are so lazy these days.
They are, and I just feel like the sharing password thing. And again,
to be clear, so am I. I'm just saying, like, you're so lazy.
I just feel like this is another thing that people have to worry about, as well as just I can see issues arising from this, unforeseen consequences. Whenever you restrict things like this, there's going to be some weird technical issue. Like I know there's been weird tech things like people are between two like cell towers.
Yeah.
And so the IP changes frequently.
I think the inconvenience will outweigh the benefits of the service. Like, for example, if going to get a morning coffee every day required you to do like a
math question.
Yeah, like do a math question to get a coffee.
Yeah.
People will be like, no. Yeah. Like this is just not worth it. I'll just walk over there and get another one.
Exactly.
It's so I think it'll just outweigh the benefit. People will just be like, this is a waste of my time. Yeah. And especially when it starts happening at really inconvenient times. Like if they're on a plane. They've just gotten on a plane for like a 3-week holiday, and they're trying to watch Netflix, and like, you must be in this location. I think people are just gonna be like, cancel this. Yeah, I'm not dealing with this anymore, and they'll go to some other one that doesn't have it yet.
That's the true thing. It's going to be very interesting. People were jokingly saying how they want like Netflix to fail, and then like just bring back Blockbuster.
Well, it might just be an accumulation of all those little tiny things. First raising the prices, taking back content, and now just like making it that much more inconvenient.
Like, are we going to regress back to just like brick and mortar stores of like buying DVDs? Like, we'll just go back. People are like, we're happy with this. This is fine. We're okay with this.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's everything. Is there any more outrage that I've missed?
Not that I'm aware of, but there could be in the future.
Right.
So we hope you all, like us, stay on watch.